Hi, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to do a February goal check-in. Unlike in January, there's actually a lot of movement on this front, so this video will be a little bit longer than January's video. So first off, in the month of February, I read 20 total books. Now my rough average, approximate average is 21 books a month to meet my total goal. And for a short month, 20 instead of 21, totally fine. According to Goodreads and Storygraph, at the end of February, because I'm filming this a little bit into March, at the end of February, I was right on track with that. So I'll take that, especially since I have spring break coming up. The next goal is audiobooks. I'm definitely getting way more into the audiobook game than I was last year, and my tentative approximate goal to my plan to meet my goal of 50 audiobooks in the year is 4 audiobooks a month. For both January and February, I have definitely surpassed that. And again, I read 6 audiobooks this month. Of that, 2 of those were fiction. One of those was a reread. That was Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. And one was new for the first time, and that was The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. The other 4 were nonfiction. I'm finding that I am preferring my nonfiction as audiobooks, which goes along with the fact that I should have realized that because I love listening to podcasts so much, but not narrative podcasts. 4 of the 6 audiobooks were nonfiction. Next, we have nonfiction. This month, my goal was a minimum of 2 per month, and I have 6. So I'm definitely bumping that up, and I have been working on making a sort of spreadsheet to catalog and sort the books on my TBR. And I've noticed that I went through a phase where I added hardly any fiction to my TBR, and I love to read fiction, and I have so many nonfiction on my TBR. So there may be another goal coming with that in the future. But I read 6 nonfiction. 4 of those, as I mentioned, were as audiobooks, and 2 of those were physical books. One of those was Krakatoa, which, if you watched my vlog and my wrap-ups, I did not enjoy. And the other was one of the books that I read a little bit every day, and that was Cultivating Genius. So 2 physical books. The star breakdown for the month, I've definitely read a lot of books that I enjoyed this year, a lot more than in the past. 8 of the books that I read this month, I rated 5 stars, which I don't give out 5 stars easily. Now I will say most of those 5 stars, all but I think 2 or maybe even 1, were in the first half of the month. The 5-star that I remember in the second half of the month of February was Bone Shard Emperor. And then I had 3 4.5 stars and 3 4 stars. So out of my total of 20 books, 14 of them I rated 4.5 stars or above. I take that as a success. Then I had 5 3.5 stars and 1 2.5. So again, all of my books except for one, Krakatoa, were above average. I realized, and if you've watched my March TBR, I mentioned that I forgot to plan out finishing series in February. So I did not complete any series. I did, with the Bone Shard Emperor, get caught up with a series by reading Hammer of Thor, which was an unexpected surprise. Advanced a book in a series, and in the month of March, I will finish that series. So I'm definitely planning completing series in the month of March. The next goal that I want to touch on is the SCASL book list. Last month when I did my January goal check-in, I mentioned that the list had not yet been released. As of today, probably a few days before now, because their annual conference is coming up next week, or the end of this week by the time this video goes up, I forget the timing, they have released those lists. I am considering doing a reaction video to the list, but of those books, I have already read 5 of the 20 books on the middle grades list. They call that the Junior Book Award. And I have read 3 of the books on the young adult list. All but 7 of those total of 8 books I read because I read the Goodreads Choice Award nominees. So those books that correspond to both of those lists are Amari and the Night Brothers, Starfish, Ground Zero, Alone, and Shape of Thunder. That's on the Junior Book Award list. I just realized that one of the books that I read for the young adult list was not because it was on the Goodreads Choice Award list for fantasy. It was on a Goodreads Choice Award list, but in a different category, and that is Firekeeper's Daughter. I'm so excited to see it on this list as well. The other ones that I have read from this list are the Gilded ones, and then the one that surprised me was Clap on Your Lands. I thought that was more of a backlist title. I think that was published in 2019 because by this point, I've already read it twice. So those are the books from the list that I have currently already read, which brings my total from a possible 40. And this year there are no overlaps. So it brings it from a total of a possible 40 down to 32, which, because I'm looking at the list far more in advance than I usually do, I'll definitely be able to finish those. One other thing that surprises me is they have Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas on this list instead of his newer release, Lost in the Neverwoods. If they put that one on there, that would have been another one that I would have read. In a previous vlog, I talked about my reaction to the Brandon Sanderson Kickstarter, which everyone on BookTube and beyond, because it has now far surpassed the biggest Kickstarter of all time. And I talked about the fact that I have read a couple Brandon Sanderson books before, and that I have wanted to read Brandon Sanderson books for a long time, but I haven't read any of his adult fantasy. And I saw that Kickstarter and I went, I really, really want to do this, and I want to go full bore. I want to go the highest tier because I love bookish box subscriptions and I love special edition books, but I haven't purchased anything yet. I need to read some of his adult fantasy before I make a decision on this. I have added another goal, and that is to read through the Cosmere. So that's a lot of books, and I'm setting that here. I am putting that on there. I want to read them. I am reserving the right to, if I don't like them, to set that goal aside based on what I know about the booktubers that I follow that love Brandon Sanderson's works. I have picked up other books that they have recommended for much the same reasons, and I have adored them, like Bone Shard Daughter. So I am anticipating that I will love these books as well. I have Mistborn, The Final Empire available at the library, but I wasn't able to go get it, and I really want to get started, and so I share my dad's Audible account, and he had 2 credits available, and so I now have The Final Empire on audiobook, so I'm going to give that a try, and we shall see whether or not I'm going to fall down the Brandon Sanderson hole as well, but that is another goal that I am adding to my list. As far as the other goal that I mentioned, there is no movement on that front. My school district has not said what the criteria is for these books. They likely will not say anything about that until, more than likely, contracts are out and signed. So that's just part of how bureaucracy works. So that goal is still temporarily on hold. But I will say a lot of the books that I am reading and things for like the SCASL list, because that is specifically South Carolina related, I probably will be in a good place to pick up on this goal should they finally decide to release the criteria by which they want these books judged. So there you have it. There is my February goals check-in. Having a lot of success with the goals. So I guess I've decided to make it a little harder on myself by deciding to read all of Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere novels. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day.